Wisdom. It's an incredibly valuable asset. Some would say more precious than gold. It's attractive, appealing, admirable. Conversely, a lack of wisdom is the basis of immaturity, blind spots, and bad decisions. Wisdom. It can be gained over time, but it can't be rushed. But wisdom can be shared. That's precisely what we are here to do right now. Today, we are here to hack wisdom, to distill it, to understand it, and to process it. Why? To get better at life. Welcome to the main thing. This is your new 9-minute podcast. I'm your host, Skip Lineberg, and I've set out to interview the wisest people I know. We'll see what we can learn from each one when they're faced with an incredibly difficult, soul-piercing question. My guest today is Andy Malinoski. He's an expert on marketing, communications, and business strategy. And he is one of the wisest people I know. If you're ready, let's find out what makes him so wise and what unique morsel of wisdom he will have to share with us today. Welcome to the main thing, Andy.
Hey, thank you, Skip.
Hey, let's help our audience get to know you a bit and understand how you and I are connected.
Well, I think what's interesting is the building we're sitting in, probably 20 feet to the left, is where I met you when we began doing volunteer work when I was employed at the state newspaper more than 20 years ago.
Isn't that crazy?
It's a crazy cycle that we keep running into each other, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate you having me here today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So how long have we known one another?
More than 20 years.
Wow.
We worked in fields from marketing to communication to watching our children play sports, doing a variety of things. We've grown up around each other in this community, and as we've changed roles, we've stayed connected, and I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be here to talk about your new endeavor.
Well, thanks. It's an honor to have you. Thanks for agreeing to do it. And I've said many times to many folks that everything I've learned about marketing, I've learned from Andy Malinoski, and that's a true statement, and changed the object of that sentence from marketing to any number of things. But I think it indicates that you and I have always been learning partners. You know, whatever I learn, I can't wait to share it with you. And I feel like vice versa. If you learn something cool and valuable, you're going to quickly be in touch with me, and we're going to go have coffee and take a look at it.
Yeah, we're going to go geek out and read books and share things we find online to make sure that we're both improving professionally and personally.
That's what it's all about. Absolutely. Yeah. So, Andy, what have you been up to lately?
You know, Skip, I'm on this new journey of learning about economic development, tourism, forestry, Department of Natural Resources, and the wonderful things that are here in West Virginia, and helping more people connect with them in my current role. Personally, sending a new child to college and teaching another one how to play percussion and help him grow as a musician. And it's just an exciting time.
Well, let's give a couple of shout outs and acknowledgments. So Xavier.
Yep, Xavier University. My daughter, Emma, is an art student there, excelling and doing great creative work. My son, Ethan, goes to WVU, West Virginia University in Morgantown. And then my son, Matthew, is a sophomore here in Charleston at a high school.
Folks, if you heard Andy mention his talented daughter, who's an artist currently studying at Xavier University, if you're curious, I challenge you to crawl through the show notes a little bit and see if you can find a reference to her and what she created that's part of this new project. Andy, let's get right down to it. Here's the question. You heard it characterized as the core, fundamental, soul-piercing question. Andy, what's the main thing you've learned so far at this point in your lifetime?
Well, Skip, the main thing I've learned so far is...
Lay it on me.
I'm going to give you a countdown.
How about a drum roll? You're
No,
a drummer.
Yeah, well, we don't have one here, but I'll give you a countdown, and I have an answer for you, and I'll tell you, I thought about this a lot, and I'm going to say it after I count down. So here we go. It's 3, 2, 1... That was it. That pause.
Yeah. Ooh.
That pause, it's the most important thing that I've learned so far.
I love it.
And creating that space, regardless how short or long it is, it lets us consider options. It lets us not react without thinking. It creates space for someone to tell me what I need to know to help them. That pause is a pretty powerful thing. It's helped me find solutions that led us to close deals that helped our companies we worked in survive. It's saved relationships. It's kept me from making really dumb mistakes. And it made me a lot wiser. And I found recently, as dynamics change and as occupations change, as my family changes and grows, and the more important it becomes, and the more severity around a decision, usually that pause needs to be longer. Sometimes it's more than
right.
the 8 seconds, me waiting before, if I have 10 seconds to respond, me waiting. And sometimes it's been weeks.
Sure.
Struggling with a decision that has to be made that may not be easy and will be a challenge, that helps you prepare for it. And, we've talked when we are doing sales and marketing, and if I say to you, what's the one thing we didn't talk about today that we should have? If I don't leave that pause there, the person I asked that question to can't tell me what they really need and what was really important to them.
Yeah, and we're going to miss that entirely.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of my main thing right now. It could change tomorrow.
I love it. So, Andy, if you could take us inside that wisdom, who or what taught you this? What enabled you to gain this wonderful piece of wisdom?
When I look back to determine where I gained that from, it's life experience, but I also read it in a book about sales. And then
interesting.
What I didn't realize, and the more I realize that about that now, whether it be personally thinking about it from personal growth perspective,
sure,
or not like if you want to call it meditation or spirituality or
maybe mindfulness,
to say what is really going on at this moment and not causing me to react my first reaction, because that's not always the best one. I mean, when I haven't used that pause, it's usually a mistake.
Yeah.
So learning that from a simple sales technique, or the one that I remember the most is a Northwestern Mutual Life insurance agent said, "So are you going to sign this insurance policy today?" And he slid a piece of paper across the table and set the pen down and didn't say anything for a minute and a half.
Oh my gosh.
It was unbearable.
Yeah.
So I guess I learned
that was the exaggerated, awkward pause.
Yeah. But now I use it all the time, and I'm grateful that it exists to help me help others and to help me help myself solve problems.
So, Andy, you helped us to understand kind of when you learned that and the setting of the training from the insurance company. Can you remember what else was going on in your life at that time? Why do you think that part of your brain was opened up to learn that?
It was a new and exciting time for my wife and I. We were starting as a family. We knew we needed insurance. And then I saw that technique, and then I used it in what I was doing for a living. And I didn't like sales. I didn't want to push goods and services on someone that didn't have value or solve their problem. So I became this listener that allows someone to actually help me help them.
What's the next big thing you desire to learn or do or master?
Skip, that's a great personal growth question. And if anything, how I can become better skilled at listening and connecting people and things so that we both benefit from it, and working just to do good work with people and perpetuating positive thinking, because there's so much fragmentation and information, and there's so much negativity that at the end of the day, when I go home and I can close my eyes and say, you know what, that was a good positive stuff. Challenges were there, negative things presented themselves, but that was a day that good stuff happened. To focus on that and use that as a guidepost is something that I want to do every day.
That's commendable for sure. Wow, 9 minutes is up. That goes by incredibly fast, doesn't it? Time flies when you're hacking wisdom. I hope you're left wanting more. Sync up with us again next time on The Main Thing for 9 more minutes of wisdom.